Welcome back to This Already, the final segment of today's Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. We want to remind you, all the great interviews from this program can be found at usadareview.com, the national news website. It gets about 1 million hits every month and growing every single day. Love watching it grow. And one of the reasons why it's growing is because of great contributors on the show and great contributors on that website, like Charles Alvarez, who writes a weekly column over there on business. In fact, why don't we spend a little time, Charles, talking about that column and the stuff that you're producing for us over there. Charles, by the way, can be found at cornerstonebusinessacademy.com. Before you talk about your column, talk about Cornerstone.
Well, Cornerstone Business Academy, what we really do is we work with business owners who are having a hard time getting from where they are to where they want to be. In other words, having a hard time scaling their business. And what we do is our clients typically can see anywhere between a $1 to $3 million increase in revenue over 21 months or less without having to add a single employee to it. It's not about working harder. It's really about working more efficiently and more process-oriented.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Talk a little bit, and by the way, in some cases, it includes cutting costs, not increasing costs, but often cutting costs and replacing labor with systems.
True. Well,
I know from personal experience. So,
and there are a lot of businesses out there, Kevin, that the reason why their cost structure is so high and their margins are not where they want it to be is because they're having to hire people to take care of the customers they don't want. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule, and the 20% customers, meaning that 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. Those are your A clients. Those are the people that you probably enjoy working with, that are profitable, that they enjoy what you're doing for them and you enjoy working for them. The problem is that most companies staff up to take care of those other 80% that tend to be kind of a headache. And what about if you could duplicate the 20% clients that are doing great for you, and then over time slowly either sell the bottom end of your book or just to refer them out entirely?
Absolutely. Or go on welfare. Ultimately, then you got the least amount of hassle at all. But no, seriously though, I'm with you on that. And that rule is an old rule. That's not a new rule. That's something that's been around for maybe centuries, where they've been talking about 80-20.
Francisco Pareto, who is he actually doesn't get enough credit for it. It actually is called Pareto's Law, and it's actually was developed by an Italian historian in the 1600s. He was also an economist, and he went out to a study to find out why. Or what the distribution of wealth was in Italy at that time. And after years and years and years of study, they went from turning it into Pareto's theory to Pareto's Law because they could not find any exceptions, and they still haven't found any exceptions to that rule.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about your column. Your column helps foster that concept, but a gazillion others. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the column really had to do with how do you streamline your business, and then really how do you take care of your customers? Because here's the thing. A lot of business owners are afraid of picking a major. Here's what we mean by picking a major. When I come across our clients in the first few meetings, they say, well, we do business with anybody. The fact of the reality is if you're doing business with everybody, you're not doing business with anybody. And to really graduate to that level, to where you're working with a select few customers or clients, what happens is that you start attracting the type of customers that you love to fulfill. Because once you know exactly what your target demographics are, what their psychodemographics are, in other words, why do they buy your product and why are they buying from you versus anybody else, and really have a really good understanding of why your A clients buy and why your A clients pick you versus anybody else they could have chosen from, that is knowledge gold for a business owner, because then you can say, okay, we really enjoy working with these two types of demographics that have these psychographics to them. And now all we have to do is go out there and market to their friends and colleagues in a manner that resonates to them. And then it becomes really, really easy to own a business. Imagine if McDonald's was a all-in-one store that had Mexican food, sushi, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza. They couldn't hire the right person, but they're very specific on exactly who they hire. Everything that McDonald's done is to cater to that married husband and wife with 3 or more kids under the ages of 11 years old. And everything they do, every person they hire, every business process is specifically designed and supportive of that demographic, and
really?
Only that demographic. Yeah.
I would think the vast majority of them were like 15 years old and didn't know what taste buds were. 15 to 18, and all of a sudden they're like, I can't eat this stuff.
But Kevin, I think you bring up a great point is, a lot of business owners think, well, in order for me to be a big business, I've got to have the best product. Well, everybody in America can make a hamburger better than McDonald's.
Anyone.
I made one yesterday, okay? But that's not the point. The point is that McDonald's gives you consistent results to the same demographic every single time. People want predictability in the types of product and service they buy. That's why McDonald's is so great.
Yeah, it was so great. Man, okay, very good. But those are the kind of things. You're very practical, very hands-on. I love the articles that you're producing over at usdailyreview.com. I want to encourage you to get them. What's going on in your business? What kind of clients are you adding? What kind of things are they looking for?
Well, Ken, we really work with the mid-market, which is anywhere between about $20 million in revenue all the way up to about $110 million in revenue. And the main issues that they're having is actually a couple of issues. The one issue is we can't find enough people in order to manage our business. And I've already kind of talked about that, which is it that you need more people, or do you need to just become more focused in your business and just reallocate and repurpose that talent to serve your best customers? The second thing is that they're really having a hard time scaling their business. And the simple fact of the matter is, it's not that they don't know how to do it or that they can't do it. It's just they don't have the time. So the main reason people hire us is, how do we develop these process flow diagrams and really systematize our business so that we do the same thing the same way every single time, till we can just kind of plug and play people in and out of it so that our customers' experience are exactly the same each and every time. Those are, I would say, the two main issues, which is people and how do we scale our business to get it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sometimes I would assume that there's radical changes required in a company because of the people. And sometimes the smaller the company, the more radical the changes. Because let's face it, each person in a company of 5, each one of those individuals are more profoundly important than, 10 people in a company of 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm not sure if I'm articulating that very well, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I would say that in a small business, Kevin, we define that as, somewhere between 10 and 100 employees. The issue there is you have what I call a lot more concentration risk. In other words, I find that a typical small business has 1 or 2 key people that if they left, it would just completely obliterate that business. Whereas if you have 1,000 employees, which we are accustomed to working with as well, the issue there becomes, how do we make sure that all of our people are following the process that have been designed for them to follow? Mm-hmm. So in one case, it's more of a process systemization issue with the 10 to 100 employee type of business. Whereas you start getting to the 1,000, 2,000, it's how do we keep our people accountable to make sure that they are following the process, which is a lot easier to do if you only have, say, 40 or 50 employees.
Mm-hmm. All right, got to wrap it up. Charles Alvarez, you can find him at cornerstonebusinessacademy.com. Also, if you go to priceofbusiness.com, put in Charles Alvarez. He has a great list of articles, and plus he has his own section at priceofbusiness.com. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Always good to be here, Kevin. Thank you.
You bet. When we come back tomorrow, much more for you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you spend it sensibly right here on this station.